How's it going, everybody? So, had a nice little conversation yesterday with Rabbi Kessin. Rabbi Kessin. Those of you guys don't know who Rabbi Kessin is, he has been talking about current events from a Torah perspective for a very long time. I think he started doing this after 9/11. There's a lecture you guys could go check out of his. One he gave in Los Angeles, in a shul in LA, right after 9/11. And he gave the dynamics of, all who the players are and what everything means, and, Asaph and Edom and all these kind of things. And also us, Yaakov, Israel. And he's been talking about it ever since. And more recently, since I think 2015, he's really been talking about everything from a Mashiach perspective. The rise of Trump and everything that's happening, and how Trump is Tov Sheb'Esav, and how, I guess, not just Hillary, but like all these people are the Rosh Sheb'Esav, the entire Shmemocratic Party. I don't want to get banned from here. And recently he's been talking about how it is, or why it is, that Trump would be temporarily removed. And essentially the main idea is that the people have to really see, Hashem has to really show the people, or at least Jews, how good Israel had it, and how good the economy, so to speak, had it. No matter what the media says, and no matter their obfuscations and manipulations, and all of their, just today I had a discussion with somebody on Twitter. He's talking about the supposed quid pro quo between Trump and Zelensky. And I go to the guy, I'm like, have you actually... And it's funny, because up until recently, I had not even read the entirety of the phone call, or as Trump called it, the very perfect phone call. It was a perfect call. I had not read the entirety of that very perfect call. I don't know if it was perfect, but, ladies and gentlemen, it wasn't quid pro quo. It was not. What it was straight up political deal. We're going to give you this. You help me with... That's it. There was no strong arming. There was none of that. This guy was talking to me about, Hunter Biden didn't do anything. Yes, he did. There's evidence that he did. There's ample evidence that he did. We know he did. We can see that he did. We found his laptop. We found this. We found that. We have evidence of other things, which I'm not going to mention here. I'm trying to keep it tznius here. Tzniut. Okay? And Trump literally gave them javelins. He gave Ukraine javelins. Sold, whatever it is. They got javelins from America. Guys, I don't... So, despite all these manipulations and obfuscations and propaganda, just blatant attempts to basically ruin the man, did a lot of good. And now, my friends, we see in front of our eyes how awful these people are. Basically the Sitra Achra. Straight up, we see it. You'd have to be Stevie Wonder not to see it. I don't know. No offense to any blind people. No offense to Stevie Wonder. You'd have to just be, I don't know, so in the cult that you can't see what's going on. My friends, and I was talking about this, Rabbi Kessin, and then we got on the topic of Ukraine itself, and he basically told me, you guys could listen to this in his shurim, but it's a little long-winded, it's a little bit, you're talking about, each one is like an hour long, but the distilled version is essentially that, that basically Zelensky is not bright. He's doing something very, very stupid. You guys may say, well, how dare you say that, Tzvi? Zelensky is a brave man. There's brave, stupid people all over the world, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot of brave and stupid people. One of the mistakes that Zelensky made was he overestimated the fact that the EU and that NATO and that the Western world actually give a damn about Ukraine itself. They do not. Ladies and gentlemen, they do not. Not only that, the only damn that they would care if they would give a you-know-what, is the fact that Ukraine will no longer, will cease to be the playground for the most corrupt people on earth, including politicians and businessmen from Europe, from all over Europe. Ladies and gentlemen, Ukraine is a money laundering factory. And I'm not talking about the people of Ukraine. I'm talking about Ukraine, the entity, the government, the corporation, if you will, called Ukraine Inc., is a money laundering operation, my friends. And it's the largest money laundering operation in the world. Yes, I said it. My friends, I was born there. I would know. Okay? So, he underestimated or thought that it would be better than it is. He overestimated their support. Okay? And now he sits wherever he sits. Russia knows where he is. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ukrainian negotiators, or his entourage, just executed a guy who they found out to be a spy for Russia. He was supposedly one of their guys. He was a spy for Russia. The Chechens just tried to kill Zelensky a few times. My friends, it's a mistake. It's a mistake. You don't poke the bear. This is what Rabbi Kessin told me. He's like, you don't poke the bear, man. And now you have Putin, who's an evil man. And now you have these two entities. On one side you have Putin and his people. On the other side you have these World Economic Shmorim, as I mentioned. And Zelensky, is caught in between. Ukraine, the people of Ukraine, are caught in between. He overestimated the help that they would give him. And unfortunately, he had to choose who he was going to cozy up with. He wasn't going to cozy up with Putin or China. So he went with, he wasn't going to go cozy up with Putin. So he went with the World Economic Shmorim. To say that this guy is necessarily a globalist, I don't know, guys. Listen, guys, I just saw the first episode of, Servant of the People. The show that before Zelensky got elected as president, or 3 or 4 years before, basically depicting himself as a guy. He's a history teacher in a school in Kiev, who basically gets written in. People send in write-in votes and basically elect this guy as the president of Ukraine. He becomes the president. My friends, so 3 years later, life imitated art, and he actually ran for president, a former comedian, the Jon Stewart of Ukraine, I'm sorry. And he won. He handily won, my friends. He beat Poroshenko 75-25. He obliterated him. My friends, some say that it may have even been, FRAUD. He may have been installed. But listen, let's assume that he won. Let's assume that he won at fair and square. But guys, the guy is in over his head. Yes, you could say he's so brave, he's so this, he's so that. My friends, right now, there are tanks and there are vehicles, as we say in Russian, what do they call it? Mechanika? Basically, there are tanks and other vehicles that are just outside of Kiev. And there's battles. And frankly, I think by next week, we might see a situation where, the Russians will reach Kiev, and there's now going to be a negotiation. And maybe half, if not, I don't know, yeah, maybe half, including Kiev, will be given to Putin. And then Putin will install his puppet government. And maybe a city like Lvov, where I'm born, will become an autonomous region, like Lvov Oblast or something like that. And maybe Odessa will. Who knows? Maybe Odessa will become part of Russia. I don't know. My friends, the people that are sitting on Twitter and wherever else cheering this war on, these stupid NPC robot leftists who otherwise, normally, my friends, at least in my day, 15 years ago, these same types of people would be anti any war, would be anti-war, period, are sitting and cheering this on, and cheering on, all the deaths of all these Russian soldiers. My friends, at the end of the day, you guys have to understand something. Putin doesn't care how many Russian soldiers you kill. He doesn't have value of human life. He's willing to sacrifice, they just said they killed 10,000 soldiers. He's willing to sacrifice 10,000 pawns to get to the king. Or to get to where the king is. My friends, he doesn't care. You can say, oh, we defeated 10,000 pawns, and you only defeated 2,000 of our pawns. Ladies and gentlemen, if you really play chess, it's not about how many pieces you take of the opponent. It's whether or not you get a checkmate. And you can get a checkmate on the first couple of moves. Okay? You can get a checkmate situation even if your opponent has taken more of your pawns. You can. It happens, right? Putin knows this. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. You're dealing with a person, my friends, who just has... If you're dealing with somebody who has no value of human life, who's willing to put his soldiers as just fodder, cannon fodder, on the way to, a certain goal, a certain destination, it doesn't really matter. You can pump up your own morale. Yeah, we killed 10,000 peshki, as we say in Russian. Pawns. Whoop-de-freaking-do. Yeah, we took all these prisoners of war. We put them on video on Telegram, which is illegal according to the Geneva Convention. But whatever, But listen, Putin is also doing stuff illegal according to the Geneva Convention. He's bombing. He's bombing a maternity hospital. There's a lot of crimes happening here, my friends. A lot of war crimes. We'll see what happens afterwards. My friends, I always say, while they're at it, the International Criminal Court, you know what they could do? And may just happen. And I'm going to get on this topic right now, guys. Hopefully we'll, I won't get banned for this. We know now, and this is not a conspiracy theory anymore. I mean, it never was. It was just these stupid NPCs thought it was. That there are Shmayo labs in Ukraine. There's about 18 of them. Maybe more. So, ladies and gentlemen, maybe this whole thing, when everything is said and done, will help to uncover... How does it go, Glenn Garrett, Glenn Ross? I have something that might help him to catch you, you fairy, you company man. Ladies and gentlemen, maybe Ukraine contains something that might help us to catch them. By them, I think you know who I mean. Mr. Shmurla, Mr. Schmansell, Mr. Schmates, Gil Bates, Mr. Santa Claus Kottenschwab, and everybody involved. Peter Schmazak of Shmiko Schmalliance. Oh yes, my friends. My friend is saying Putin will not stop with Ukraine. Listen, it remains to be seen where he'll stop, where he will be stopped, where he will stop himself. We don't know. But my friends, let's, in the words of Rabbi Kessin, let's see what happens. Alright guys, I'll talk to you very, very soon.